next concert is really music from the Americas, all of the Americas, from states right down to Brazil. And the concert starts with, in fact, a composer who's really known for ballet music, Carlos Surinach, who is actually an American composer of Spanish descent, who wrote a lot of ballet music. The music is very rhythmic, very, as you imagine for dance. And the piece is called The Magic Fair, as in a great, state fair sort of a thing. So not written for the piano in any way. In fact, I was finding it interesting that some of the scales that they have to learn, which is not a real scale, and yes, but that's why you take things to the piano so that you understand what everyone else is suffering through when they try to play it. And then we actually go to a piece that is brand new, the Chicago Songs by Kurt Erickson. This will be a world premiere, the Kurt Erickson, and it was written for the Sacramento Philharmonic and for Marnie Breckenridge. Marnie Breckenridge right now is making a great career both in the United States and abroad as a soprano, high soprano. She just was a great success in Candide in London. And as a result of that, she was invited to sing at the Glyndebourne Festival. So she's doing very, very well. In fact, we're very lucky that we booked her sometime in advance, because I'm not sure we could have gotten her for this period if we'd waited any longer, because now people are hiring her for all sorts of things all the time. The most important thing to remember about contemporary music, well, two important things to remember. First of all, no one likes everything. And so you have permission to not like it. It could be that you don't like it, or you might like it, but you're better going into the performance thinking, well, I'll see if I like it. And then you decide at the end whether you like it or not. It helps to have the composer present, and we have pre-concert talks before each concert to talk about the piece of music, and generally the composer is there to explain what he or she was trying to do. So if you come an hour early and you see that pre-concert talk, it gives you a much better idea what's going to happen. But even then, the idea is that the composer tells you what he or she was trying to achieve, and then you get to decide how successful they were. The other thing about contemporary music that you need to remember is that every generation, in terms of what's great and what's not, every generation has gotten it wrong all the time. When Beethoven was alive, nobody thought that much of his pieces. They thought he was a great pianist. They sort of put up with his composition. Now, of course, we think it's just the greatest thing ever. So leave your mind open, see if you like it, and then later generations will decide whether it was great or not. We'll also do the West Side Story dances of Leonard Bernstein, and of course everyone knows that music. Well, there's a where the opening tritone, which you don't need to know, that's the interval, which is the beginning of Maria. But it's not the famous songs from West Side Story. It really is the dance sequences within West Side Story. So you will recognize some of the famous tunes, but more importantly, you'll recognize the famous rhythms and the mambo, and the orchestra even yells the word mambo a couple of times in the chorus of the piece. So that piece, which is a really standard now on concerts all the time, very evocative, again, of the American Latin theme, which permeates this whole concert. It's still emotional doing Bernstein because, first of all, it's always different when you've known the composer. Because how often do you get to actually have known this really famous composer? And then it just reminds you of the times when he was actually around and being such an actual living inspiration to all of us. So I don't think it ever gets. You certainly never get tired of these pieces. You can pretty much be guaranteed a really exciting experience, a really fun experience, and a mixture of things between from this brand new piece, the Chicago Songs, which no one's ever heard before, to West Side Story, which is one of the most beloved pieces of American music that there is. So there's something on this program for everybody, and I think everyone will go away really having had a wonderful evening.